It's been a long time, it seems. We last time we were here was in March, and so we missed 2 months. We missed our anniversary, but it's good to be here. I'm Skip Mounts, Dean of the School of Business at the college. Our wonderful amplification today was Bill Garland helped today, and Susan Bates, our wonderful host, who has, I think we need sort of a local mask contest. She has the best mask ever that you can use her restrooms, which are themselves special, through the side door here. So thank you very much, Susan. We've seen a lot since we've met. We've seen amazing nurses and healthcare professionals. We've experienced pandemic. We've experienced issues of police and race and community. And lots of times it just didn't seem dark and bad. But every so often, as we've said before, you'd find an entrepreneur doing something. You'd find someone who was making masks, who was making plastic shields for the face of nurses. You're seeing entrepreneurship in vaccine development. This is one of the first crises in this country where the federal government has turned over a lot of what it does to private sources. So when all of this is done and written about, I hope someone talks about entrepreneurs and what they've done. So I'm glad you all are here. So when all of this is done and written about, Bill, we're getting a video in here.
I had to check to make sure
Are you doing something to me?
No, I had to check to make sure the sound was on.
Okay, the sound is on.
Make sure the streaming sound was working.
Okay, good. So, 1 million cups. I'll go back to our routine. 1 million cups is an educational program developed by the Kauffman Foundation. Our purpose is to engage and encourage entrepreneurship. Today we'll have 2 entrepreneurs who will talk about their stories, their backgrounds, and their businesses. Hopefully you all will ask questions. We'll take a break and have the second presenter come our way. Our goal is very simple, to have creative people simply talk to one another in this beautiful park. And hopefully out of that creativity will come a different community than what we have now, which is also in many ways wonderful and evolving. I've often said that we're the only 1 million cups venue that meets in a bar. Well, I think today we're the only 1 million cups venue that's meeting in a park. So I think that's pretty cool too. So our first presenter is Sam McPherson of Potlikker Farms. So please welcome Sam.
Thank you all very much.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing? Yeah, it's great to be back out, even though I'm mostly just on the farm all the time anyways. My routine didn't change hardly at all. But it is good to be back. I love this place. I love Tipsy's. I used to work here. I used to work in the back as a cook. Actually, Miss Susan is one of the reasons why I'm standing here today, and I'd like to say thank you, Miss Susan, most definitely for giving me the opportunity to come cook for you and to come learn. And that really spurred me to go to the College of Coastal Georgia and get my culinary and hospitality associates. So I want to talk a little bit about our farm project out on Blythe Island. I'm a grower at Potlikker Farm. I'd like to say I'm a multi-generational farmer, but it skipped my parents. It was with my great-grandparents and with my grandparents, but my parents, they didn't really care about anything that had to do with farming. We are a small-scale market garden. We are intensely planted and we are seasonal. We're certified naturally grown. Certified naturally grown is a peer-to-peer, farmer-to-farmer certification process that has a low cost threshold, and it doesn't involve corporations or government bureaucrats, quasi-government bureaucrats, that you have to pay large sums of money to just to come and tell you that you don't have pesticides and that you're not using chemical fertilizers. The project out on Blythe Island was started by Mr. Zach Gowan and myself about 2 years ago. I worked for Zach at the Georgia Sea Grill on St. Simon's Island while I was completing my culinary apprenticeship, like I was talking about. We were required to go work at a local restaurant. A lot of people went to Sea Island, Jekyll Island Club, or some of the really nice restaurants, fine dining places around here. And I chose to go to Georgia Sea Grill. I'd known Zach for a while, and he used to order from the organic cooperative that my wife and I ran in Camden County and here in Glenn County for a number of years. Zach used to order regularly through the co-op. He was even back then, concerned about the pesticides in our foods and GMOs and really the overall health issues that we all deal with from the intake or the things that we're intaking every day that we're eating. And so on those occasions, I would drop off here. Miss Susan, again, was so nice to let me use this as kind of a meetup place. I'll be able to have a beer at the end of the night and meet a couple people and go out and hand out my bags, the produce bags that they had ordered. And on a couple of those occasions, Zach and I would sit at the bar and talk, and we got to know one another. And we would talk about mostly food, farming, restaurants, everything that we were definitely interested in and that he is definitely involved in. On one such meeting, we discussed local farming, and we came away with the sentiment that in order for anything to get better, in order for the local food industry to get better, to grow, and to offer more clean and organic options, that somebody had to do something, and that someone had to put themselves into that farming role, and that also someone would need a partner that would be able to help to fund this endeavor and this project. And really, Potlikker Farm, it was born out of that idea of we need to change something. You kind of have to think of it like local farms are the mycelium, or they're the mushrooms, and they really help the roots to grow and to assimilate nutrients. And that's really what they do for local restaurants as well. They offer more options, they offer local sustainability, and they offer clean produce most of the time. And so they really help those restaurants to grow as well. So Zach's desire for clean and local, as well as my dedication to producing it, really helped form this project. He contacted me when he found the property out on Blythe Island. It's about 7 acres, half of which is marsh. So we only have really about 3.5, 4 acres to work with. And I only plant about 2 acres, but very intensely planted. They stay in there as long as they need to, then I'll flip them right out and then re-amend the beds and put something else in, probably that day or the day after I pull lettuce or collards or beets or chard or anything like that. So when we found the property, he asked me to help him start this sustainable organic farm that we've been talking about. I was kind of shocked at first, but when we went out and looked at it, it was really serendipitous. He was reading the Potlikker Papers by John T. Edge. I don't know if anybody's read it. It's a great book. It's about Southern culture, food culture, and how it was developed. And when we pulled onto the property, the sign said Potlikker's Place. And it was kind of a definite sign, but a sign from God. We thought that this had to go forward. So we have, over the past 2 years, developed that organic, sustainable farm that we were talking about. And we have been providing an enormous amount of produce to the Georgia Sea Grill. We are not currently able to sell anything else because of our zoning issues that we are working through for sure. And we hope to be able to sell to the downtown's farmers markets and local restaurants. And we really hope to encourage other farmers as well to do the same thing, to put themselves in those farming roles. And anybody that's interested in it, that has money to be able to fund those people, needs to start stepping forward and doing just that if we want things really to get better as far as the food and the food culture is concerned around here. Because we have a beautiful place and we have lots of time to grow veggies here, like year round pretty much, except for like August when it's just crazy hot. So right now on the property, we are currently producing squash, peppers, peas, kale, chard, cucumbers, kohlrabi. radicchio, leeks, tomatoes, garlic, cut flowers, sunflowers, nasturtium, borage, rosemary, basil, mint, melons, beans, okra, lemongrass, turmeric, fennel, Brussels sprouts, strawberries, blueberries, pecans, ginger, and honey. I know it sounds like a lot, but when you take each day and plan it out and plan what you're going to plant and rotate it properly, you can produce an enormous amount of food on just 2 acres. I've seen people do crazy things on a half acre. There's a guy out close to Waycross who's doing really good things on just half an acre. And many of our seeds are heirloom seeds. The peas are Sea Island red peas. I was fortunate enough to meet Matthew Rayford when we were doing the whole organic cooperative, and he gifted me some seeds. I took those and then I crossed them with another gift from Miss Cornelia Bailey through a friend of Sapelo Island seeds, and then I crossed those, and that's what I've been growing, and we just call them Potlikker red peas. So we're keeping that heritage, and then we're also creating our own, and creating our own seeds that are going to be a little bit more virulent, a little bit more disease resistant and acclimated. This is our main heirloom crop is the red peas, but we want to preserve many more to come, and we want the second generation, the third generation, the fourth generation of those fruits and of those vegetables to be better and better and better and acclimated to our area. This is part of our routine to save seeds, to save them from the best specimens, and then use them next year as next year's crop to ensure that we have that viability as a sustainable farm. We also want to help to encourage other farmers and to help other farmers with these seeds. Currently, everything that we produce, it goes to Georgia Sea Grill. And Chef Tim Lynch, he's great, and I apprenticed under him at Georgia Sea Grill, and he's fantastic, and he's one of the best chefs I've ever met. And he turns the produce into like magic on a plate. And if you haven't been to Georgia Sea Grill, just please go there and check it out. It's a restaurant that is really trying very hard to source as much as they can locally. So much so that the things that they couldn't get, he started up a farm just so he could. In the future, we would love to be able to sell to the public. And like I said, at farmers markets and restaurants, it is exactly what our Golden Isles needs more. More farms, more farmers, more individuals willing to dedicate themselves to producing clean, sustainable food for our community. And that's really what led me here today. I'm from Camden County. I grew up there. I went in the military for a bit, and I came back, and I used my GI Bill to go in to get my culinary associates. And then through that, found that I also wanted to be involved in where the food starts from the beginning, which was growing it. And Potlikker Farm was born out of that dedication, both Zach and I's. And thank you guys for listening to me. That's pretty much it. That's our farm, and I appreciate the time.
Oh, we're going to ask you stuff.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, Miss Susan.
Sam, if you could repeat that question so the rest of us could hear it.
Yes, Miss Susan is talking about the zoning issues that we've been having, and she was saying, what can we do, everyone here, what can they do to help us out? And I really appreciate that, because I did kind of glaze over it. Yes, and to include exactly what the zoning issues are. So we bought the farm under the guise of, it was a goat farm, because there was goats out there forever. It was a large pasture. It's probably like a 2.5, 3 acre pasture. It always had goats on it, and we realized before that it actually had a large garden, market garden. However, it is R20. R20 says that you cannot have any commercial operation going on the property. So when we put in our request to rezone, we were going to go to forest agriculture, FA, with extreme exemptions. Our exemptions were things like we couldn't ever be a giant commercial chicken farm. We couldn't ever be a church. We couldn't ever be a grocery store. We couldn't ever bury people on the property. Many exemptions, conservation protections, that this place was going to be a sustainable farm into the future. So we put up our little sign, or the county came by after we put in our request. They put up their sign. None of our neighbors really expressed any discontent to us whatsoever. We went to the Mainland Planning Commission, and we had about, I think it was 10 to 15 individuals and neighbors stand up and speak out against us. Their main concerns were that we were going to be operating a commercial chicken farm, and that Blythe Island was going to become more commercialized because of this rezoning from R20 to FA, because if you give it to them, then other people will want to come and request their rezoning, and then they alluded to it as the slippery slope. They also compared us to like the motorcycle gang that is on Blythe Island Highway. It was actually kind of comical. We made a joke that we were going to be Potlikker Motorcycle Club, you know. But so we got approved at the Mainland Planning Commission because the commissioners understood that what we were trying to do wasn't change anything commercially. It was actually, we were trying to put this into conservation protection under FA. So we went forward with that. We invited our neighbors out. We invited just anybody out that wanted. We're an open farm, so anybody here can come out there. I'm out there all the time. We invited everyone to come out and speak with us if they had any concerns like they showed at the Mainland Planning Commission. No one came out. Not a single person. I think our one neighbor, Miss Sally, who is now moved, she came over. And that was it. And I gave her some flowers and told her thank you very much. And Miss Joan Scarborough, she came over, and she has been an ally fighting for us. She's one of the only people that actually stood up for us at the Mainland Planning Commission. So we went forward to the Board of Commissioners, but we decided to defer our zoning request because we understood that was being told to us that we did not have the commissioners with us. So we went to the Board of Commissioners meeting anyways, just on the chance that they didn't accept our deferral. We sat in the Board of Commissioners meeting, and I think maybe 7 or 8 liquor licenses got approved quickly. I don't have any problem with drinking. I love beer. I mean, who works at Tipsy's that doesn't like a beer every once in a while, you know? But my sentiment is, then it came to us. We decided to defer, but the Board of Commissioners took a special exemption and kind of lectured us a little bit about why we shouldn't be doing this, why it wasn't going to get approved, and they asked us who in their staff recommended it, because it was totally wrong and they never did anything like this before. So we left that meeting kind of with our tail between our legs a little bit and kind of trying to regroup and see what we can do in order to push this thing forward and get it the zoning that we want. And we decided to do a plan development and tell everybody what we're going to do explicitly instead of what we're not going to do. So we're putting even more exemptions on ourselves, and hopefully we can go back up before the Board of Commissioners. We'll see how things play out. But that's our basic issues is the residential, and no one wants it turned into commercial.
Another question for Sam. I was going to ask you, because the culinary program is in the School of Business, and I'm the dean of the School of Business, how wonderful your experience was, but I won't ask that. But how did you get interested in culinary?
It was actually working here with Miss Susan at Tipsy's. I cooked all in high school, and then I went in the military and did something totally different. And when I got out, I really wanted to, I really was searching to find myself, but I always kept cooking, and I always grew a garden, and I always, cooked what I grew, obviously. And then I was sitting around talking to one of my friends on the phone who had already gotten 2 masters through the GI Bill, and he was like, "Why aren't you using it? You need to go back to school. You have to. It'll be easy for you." And so I went to College Coast of Georgia, and it was a great experience. I really loved it. I would recommend anybody who is in culinary or has individuals that are looking towards it that the College Coast of Georgia is just as good as any of the larger schools, but you get a better experience because it's a lot closer knit. So I really appreciate my time there. It helped fill in a lot of culinary gaps for me.
Well, you're very kind, and I will buy all of your produce next year. So another is a question for Sam. Yeah, Tammy.
Teaching classes for those of us who are trying to do our own gardens, because I follow you on Instagram, and I'm always like looking at these things you grow and you're buying half that size. You're just, not knowing the right seeds to purchase, that kind of thing.
Yes, no, she's asking about just teaching classes, and I consider myself I know it sounds funny, but I still, compared to like my grandfather, I consider myself such a novice that it's really hard for me to get into that role of telling people what to do. But I say over and over, we're an open farm. So if you have an issue, you can stop by anytime, and if you want to learn something, I'll probably just show you how to do it for free. Maybe in the future we will have actual classes like that. We've had a couple gardening clubs out and they had a great time, but as far as the teaching goes, I really haven't considered it. I've been so focused on getting the right seeds in the ground for myself, like you said, that I really haven't considered anybody else. But in the future, yes, we would like to do that for sure.
Where are you located exactly, and are you on Facebook?
Yes, we're on Facebook and Instagram for sure. We're located on Blythe Island, right off Blythe Island Drive. So if you're going south on 303, you just take a right there at the gas station at the stoplight that's right there, and then you ride down about a mile and we're on the right. And it says, big old sign, Potlikker Place.
Another question. Well, where can we get a cool T-shirt?
Oh, I know I need to start selling them, for sure.
Yeah,
we were just thinking about that, actually.
Right, I'm trying to get Susan to sell those masks.
Yeah.
You ought to sell those T-shirts too.
Maybe we do a combo or something, you know?
Okay.
Hey, there you go. Well, I'll get on it then.
There you
I'll get
go.
on it.
Does he have a website?
Yes, sir. We have a website. You can just go to potlikkerfarm.com. I think it'll redirect you, or you can type in Georgia Sea Grill, and their website has all of the different, like the farm, Village Creek Landing, as well as Zach has done an organic catfish farm out in White Oak. It's called Satilla Ponds, and it's a great venture. I mean, I don't know anybody else that's doing organic catfish, and the taste is definitely better.
Yes, Stephen.
So I hate to, is this a business, Sam, or is it a lifestyle? Are you doing this because you're just in love with the concept? Are you really 10 years from now hoping to have a multi-million-dollar operation? Just give me a view as to what your long-term vision is, where you're trying to go with the concept.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's talking about what the future holds for Potlikker, and whether or not it's going to be a large-scale like corporate business, or whether it's going to be just a labor of love for the rest of my life. I would be happy with either. My plan is to take it as far as it can, so I work hard every day in trying to ensure that we are growing, we're producing more every year in a more sustainable manner, in a more cost-efficient manner. So I do always have that business side of myself. But I don't think there's any way to do a market garden here in the South with that thing over your head every day without loving it. And honestly, you can taste the love in vegetables and in produce. So, yes, sir, it is a labor of love for me, but I do have a plan for the future. A bigger farm, bigger place.
You only grow in the dirt, or do you use alternate methods like hydroponics and aeroponics and things of that nature?
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate the question. He's saying if we just grow in dirt or use aquaponics, hydroponics. I love dirt. It's how I know. I can stick my hand in dirt and probably tell you just about like what's going to grow in there, whether or not the roots are going to be able to penetrate. I don't have any experience in aquaponics and hydroponics. I'm sure I could get one up and running within a year that would produce lettuce. It was beautiful. It tasted kind of mild. That honestly doesn't interest me. My interest is dirt and amending the soil and improving the soil, honestly, so that we can produce bigger collards next year in the same plot that I did this year, because I rotated peas in over the winter. So dirt is my choice.
All right. Well, Sam, thank you very much. That
Yes,
was
sir.
wonderful. And to prove you are here, we have a little corporate swag.
Oh,
for
that's
you.
great. Thank you.
So when you're out in the hot sun, you can use our mug because it's not really well insulated to insulate your cold drink. So
I appreciate it.
let's take about a 5-minute break, and we'll come right back. Thank you.